director of MassCann NORML and as a select delays international tour. But where it is crucial and urgent is as a woman and as a parent.
Louder.
Every day in Massachusetts, in the United States, and around the world, we are being persecuted for marijuana use. It is part of my own truth. My daughter Liberty was born in August 2010. That's why I wasn't at the Freedom Rally last year. I was under investigation by Child Protective Services, known as the Department of Children and Families, or DCF in the state, for potential abuse and neglect solely and completely for my use of medical marijuana while pregnant. Despite my honesty with all my prenatal caregivers, as with all my medical professionals in the past, and in some cases their agreement with my use of medical marijuana, including an obstetrician, and in most their acceptance and understanding, I was told in advance I would have a mandated report made against me. Any woman who uses marijuana and has a baby in a hospital will be faced with a mandated report being made against her. As a parent, do you practice harm reduction and honest discussion about cannabis with your kids? Using yourself as an example, what happens if they share that information in class when faced with factual and incorrect information about cannabis and its use? Mandated report. What happens if a teacher or coach finds out you as a parent use marijuana, even if they have no actual concern about it? Mandated report. Mandated report for potential neglect and abuse solely on the basis of marijuana use. I've read my mandated report. In it is quoted a badly done study which was provably discredited years ago, as well as other choice quotes from doctors funded wholly by the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Dr. Melanie Dreher did the only controlled and longitudinal study about marijuana use during pregnancy. She found that there was no difference in children born to mothers who used cannabis during pregnancy and those who did not, except that the children whose mothers took were slightly smarter and a bit more well-adjusted than those who didn't. This is what I told the midwife who inappropriately attempted to bait marijuana policy with me less than 5 minutes following my daughter's birth. Cannabinoids are also naturally found in breast milk. They aid in appetite and the sleep. Perhaps this has to do with the cannabinoid receptors we have in our brains, about which scientists know perilously little, and are only starting to learn how they are connected to our creativity, our pattern recognition, our intelligence, and our emotional states. Regardless of the facts, the message is clear. You can't be a good parent and use marijuana. Not recreationally, not medically, not at all. Have you ever smoked marijuana? DCF asked in their response screen. Many tens of millions of people in this country, including our current president, have ever smoked marijuana. Millions do it every year. If you were my age, most of our parents did. Are our parents, the grandparents of our children, were they bad parents? Should the millions of people who use cannabis every year and have the gall to also have children all face investigation? DCF felt that one question gave them the basis to initiate an investigation, come to my home, and cause substantial fear and worry during the uber-important bonding time between mother and baby of the first 2 weeks of life. Of course, they found nothing wrong with my daughter. They found no concern with me as a mother. That's because the only thing I allegedly did wrong was use marijuana while pregnant. I'm still grateful to be in Massachusetts. If I was in some other states or other countries, I would have lost my daughter. Perhaps I would be in jail. Women in this country and worldwide are being increasingly criminalized for their medicine, for minor infractions, for crimes that shouldn't be crimes at all, for being in the wrong place, at the wrong time, with the wrong man. But what else can being a woman and a medical or recreational user of cannabis impact? Have you been a victim of domestic violence? Do you need services? No. Do you need a shelter of any kind? No. Would you like to apply for federal housing? No. What else can happen to you as a parent and a medical or recreational user of cannabis? Are you involved in a custody battle? What happens if you were to need DCF for something more serious then? Will you be able to control your own exposure through marijuana within the context of the legal system and judges' personal opinions on your cannabis use? What if every parent's nightmare happens and it is your child who is terminally ill and you can't give your child tincture via IV or risk that child being taken away from you at their most vulnerable? Do you do it anyway? Because you know the evidence shows your child will eat for the first time in months and because marijuana might just save their life? All because cannabis is both medically and recreationally illegal in the state of Massachusetts. Unfortunately, we can't always look to our own movement, not just yet. Even in our own cause, there are problems for women and there are problems for parents. We have conferences and events at which there is no daycare provision made for the parents who work at them. Some of our organizations and businesses are old boys networks with both purposeful and accidental misogyny. It's a turnoff to women of all ages, and it is a turnoff to the men who stand beside them. But times are changing. The election of 6 women to the MassCann board this past March to make up fully 50% of the board instead of 0 women was a first in the country. The NORML Women's Alliance and Safer's Women's Marijuana Movement are both changing the tone of the debate to include women's voices, and they are doing a fabulous job. It is obvious the old men are scared. They are scared in the cause we share, but most of all, they are scared in our governments, in our businesses, and in all the halls of power who have self-interest in keeping cannabis illegal. It is time to come out. Therefore, I'm starting an art project to show that there are men and women, parents, professionals, grandparents, retirees, teachers, nurses, business people, and neighbors who imbibe marijuana and are productive members of society. It is time to come out of the cannabiscloset.com. These are our children. These are our bodies. This is our medicine. This is our choice. This is our time. Women, mothers, grandmothers, sisters, daughters, fathers, grandfathers, brothers, and sons beside us. We ended prohibition once. Let's do it again. Thank you. You can find me on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Sara Kant. Now, not along.